All right, welcome. In this explainer, we're not just going to solve an exam question. We're going to pull back the curtain on the mark scheme itself so you can see exactly what the examiners are looking for. By the end of this, you'll know the blueprint for grabbing every last mark.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you guarantee full marks? Well, it's not always just about getting the right answer. It's about showing the right process. So how does that actually work in practice?
Okay, let's get our hands dirty with a real example. This is question 1 from the 2024 GCSE maths paper. All it asks is for the highest common factor, the HCF, of 63 and 105. Now, it might only be worth 2 marks, but getting these early questions right is a huge confidence booster for the rest of the exam.
So how are those 2 marks split? Well, the first one is all about your method. It's that classic show your working part. And getting this right is your first step to a perfect score on this question.
Examiners have a name for this. It's the M1 or method mark. And here's the absolute key. You can get this mark even if you make a mistake and get the final answer wrong. As long as the examiner can see you've used a solid strategy, that first mark is yours.
And you know what's really great? There isn't just one single right way to do this. The official mark scheme actually gives you credit for 3 different approaches. So let's break them down, and you can pick the one that you like best.
First up, the classic approach, just listing out all the factors for each number. This is a really great, straightforward method, especially if you're pretty quick with your times tables.
Now, look closely at this. This is the exact wording from the mark scheme. You don't even have to find all the factors. All you have to do is list 4 correct ones for either 63 or 105 with no more than 1 slip-up, and you've got the method mark. It's way more forgiving than you might think. So here's what that looks like on the page. You list the factors for 63,
So here's what that looks like on the page. You list the factors for 63, then you do the same for 105. Once they're all laid out, you can just circle the ones they have in common, 1,
3, 7, and the biggest one of all, 21. And that's our HCF. Nice and simple.
Okay, but what if listing all those factors isn't really your thing? No problem. There's a much more visual way to get that M1 mark. This is the second approved method, using factor trees.
And again, check out the fine print from the mark scheme. It's surprisingly generous. A complete factor tree for just one of the numbers, even if you make a tiny arithmetic mistake, is still enough to get you that M1 mark.
So for 63, you'd start by branching it out into, say, 9 times 7. 7's a prime number, so we can circle that one. Then the 9 breaks down into 3 times 3, and those are prime too. So there you have it. The prime factors are 3, 3, and 7. And then you just do the exact same thing for 105.
Now, our third and final way to get that M1 mark comes straight from the factor tree method. Instead of drawing the whole tree, you can just show that you've found the prime factors themselves.
So maybe you do your factor tree on some scrap paper. You don't even have to copy it onto your answer sheet. Just writing down 3, 3, 7 for 63 or 3, 5, 7 for 105 is enough. The examiner sees you've done the right thinking, and you get your M1 mark. And here's how you use those lists to find the answer. You just look for what the two lists have in common. They both have a 3, and they both have a 7. So you just multiply those shared prime factors together. 3 times 7 gives us our HCF, and that's 21. Okay, so you've shown your method, you've secured that first mark, you're halfway there. Now for the grand finale, that second mark, which is all about getting the answer perfectly right. This is the A1, or the accuracy mark. And you gotta pay attention to those 3 letters CAO. It means correct answer only, and they are not kidding. Your method could be a work of art, but if that final number isn't spot on, you don't get this mark. No wiggle room here.
And that single correct answer, as we've seen from all 3 methods, is 21. Get that number on the answer line, supported by your great working, and that's it. 2 marks in the bag.
But what happens if you panic? We've all been there, right? Your mind goes blank, you don't show any of your working, is it automatically 0 marks? Well, not necessarily. The mark scheme has a little safety net called a special case.
Honestly, this can be a real lifesaver. Let's say you scored 0 on your method. But if you still manage to write down 3 or 7 as the answer, the examiner can give you one special case mark. Why? Because you've still shown that you can identify a common factor, even if it's not the highest one.
This table just lays it all out. If you didn't get that method mark, an answer of 3 or 7 can still rescue 1 mark for you. Anything else, and it's a 0. The lesson here is that it is always worth writing something down, because the exam is designed to reward you for what you do know.
Okay, let's put all that together into a simple blueprint, a game plan you can use for any question like this.
So let's recap the blueprint. Number 1, show your working. Pick one of those 3 valid methods we talked about. That gets you your first mark. Number 2, make sure your final answer is exactly 21. That's your accuracy mark. And finally, remember your safety net. If all else fails, writing down a common factor like 3 or 7 can still get you on the scoreboard.
And that's it. That's what it really means to deconstruct a mark scheme. It's not just about doing the math, it's about understanding the rules of the game so you can maximize your score. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you know exactly how the marks are awarded, which method are you going to choose when you're in that exam hall?